She don't want a good man. She's looking for a sponsor, bro. Hear me out. You have to understand that most of the women in our environment, most of the women with this color of skin, they come from generations of battered, bitter, and begging women who teach their daughter that you better get everything that you can out of a man, because they do not teach them to look at a man for love. They teach them to look at a man for what he can do financially, so they won't end up in the poverty-stricken neighborhoods that they've been condemned to.
Hey, Shalom. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto coming back with another one. Our people don't have the truth. And that's why we're stuck in a cycle of what? Of complaining. That's why people like this, dating coaches and life coaches and all these different self-help gurus are making so much money off of our people, because all our people do is complain because they don't understand a thing. Right? The only truthful thing that he said, really and truly, is you can't save her, bro. It's a generational curse. And I agree with that. But where does the generational curse go back to? It goes back to the scriptures, right? It goes back to us breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Our women have rebelled against our authority because we have rebelled against the Heavenly Father's authority. So until we get ourselves back in order, we can't ask for order because we're out of order. And really and truly, even when we get ourselves back in order in this society, we still can't ask anything of our women because our women have already been conquered. And you have to understand how women are. Women are a possession. So you first have to ask, who is the owner of the woman? Right? You would first go to the father, and you would speak to the father and say, hey, I'm interested, right? Like, I want to marry your daughter. Or the father will know you from you were a youth, or you would be born and there will already be a business transaction that has already been done to where the father loves your family. And when I say loves, I mean respects your family and wants his daughter to be raised, not raised, but to be a part of the union that's going to bring these two families together for a lifetime. Right? So that business transaction will be done, and you and that girl will be brought together. Right? That's how it works. Well, in this society, who owns the woman? This so-called Caucasian. Right? She's really and truly owned by the international bankers through her birth certificate. Right? They're the ones who own the minds of our people. Right? They've owned us since birth. Right? They own us in school. Right? They own us through the television, through movies, right? Through entertainment. Right? They completely have us under subjection, and they have our women mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Right? Because the spiritual affinity in this society is witchcraft or woman worship or feminism. And our women have wholly embraced this society's way of thinking. So for you now to want to be a quote unquote righteous man, and to be a righteous man means to be what? Which means to be an assertive man. But that type of man in this society is known as a toxic masculine. So you are completely against their programming. Our women have already been programmed. So you trying to go against that program, it won't work. She would need to be conquered. So it's not going to even work, even when you are in order according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? This is First Peter chapter 3, verse 7. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. And guess what? That's not how we were raised in this society. In this society, we were taught to dwell with the woman emotionally. Emotionally. That's why a lot of us get caught up in the whole aspect of love or being a knight in shining armor, or being her being her captain save, right? That's what we represent in this society. Right? But it's the scripture says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. Right? It has to be something that you're dealing with the woman and it makes sense according to the laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? That's what Adam did wrong. Eve went off, and when she went off, he wasn't supposed to follow behind her. Right? She gave him a knowledge that was supposed to be rejected. And the same thing goes for us, right? When our women try to bring a certain mindset or ideology to us, it's something that we have to reject. Now, let's say your woman comes to you tomorrow. She's like, hey, honey, hey, daddy, whatever she calls you. You know, I was researching about witchcraft, and I found out that it goes back to our people when we were in Africa. Yeah, I think we're Africans. I don't believe what you're saying about us being Israelites. I feel like we are Africans, and we practice spiritualism, and in that spiritualism, it's our power. And because it's our power, I want to start using it. And I'm a goddess, and you should worship me. Well, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say to that woman? Right? You got to tell that woman to kick rocks, man. You literally got to tell that woman to kick rocks. There is nothing that woman can say to you, or should be able to say to you, that should sway you into you being subservient to her, because that's not your role, right? You cannot serve two masters, and you always have to understand. That's one of the number one things we need to understand as men in this truth, right? You have to understand that you are already serving Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. And someone cannot serve two masters. And that's one of the reasons why we don't have our women, because our women are already serving themselves. Our women are narcissists, right? By nature, right? They worship themselves. And also, they're busy worshiping their true master, which is the God of this world, which is the biblical Edomites, who are the modern day Caucasians and the modern day white people. Right? That's their head. That's their God. Right? So for you to come now with your rules and your guidelines, it wouldn't make any sense. It's too late in the game, because they've already had our women minds from birth. This is Isaiah 8, chapter 20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Okay? So even though our people, right, these influencers, these dating coaches, these life coaches, whatever the hell they're calling themselves nowadays, even though that they present themselves as very knowledgeable people, and these are people that could be very well educated. I'm not saying that a lot of them are not educated, but guess what they're not educated with? They're not educated with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So what does that mean? According to the scriptures, it means because there is no light in them, period. So our people, they're all lost. They're all confused, and they don't have the answers, and they don't have the truth, right? They have a truth, right? They might speak certain things to where you're just like, ooh, that's deep. But guess what? They can't give you the root cause, or they can't tell you what to do now. Because at the end of the day, if there's an issue, there needs to be a solution. So what is the solution to the issue? Right? Are we just going to talk about the situation ad nauseum? Right? Ad nauseum, you're just talking about the situation every day. You're just complaining, you're complaining. You're telling me there is no solution to the situation? If there's no solution to the situation, then you're just talking. You don't have truth. You don't have the light. Because there has to be a fix.
So you're trying to go about it all wrong. You're trying to wine and dine her. You're trying to love her. You're trying to show her affection. You're trying to show her all of the things that you feel like she didn't get. And that's the reason why she's the way that she is. But that couldn't be further from the truth. What you have to understand is that... what our people needs to understand is why they think the way they think. Our people have been programmed by single mothers. They've been raised in single mother homes. Our people have been raised by the television, live vision, right? Which is really broadcasting. What are they broadcasting? Spells. What spells are people under? Well, they're under the spell of feminism. They're under the spell of being slaves. All you think that you are is a damn slave, right? So you've become accustomed to serving. You've been accustomed to being an employee, right? You've been accustomed to being a student. Not understanding the student must become the master, right? And you men are the masters. You're the masters of your own household. You're first supposed to master yourself. And that's one thing our people don't learn. That's one thing I didn't learn as a young man was self-mastery, which self-mastery goes into what? Goes into discipline. These are things that are very, very important, man. Right? This is Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. But in this society, they flipped it. Because yes, they have trained us up, but they've trained us up in wickedness. They've trained us up on Disney movies, right? They've trained us up on junk food. They've trained us up on iPads, computers, right? Just being inactive. And they've trained us up on not being able to think for ourselves. They've trained us up on being emotional and not being logical, right? This is Galatians chapter 4, verse 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differenteth nothing from a servant, though he be a lord of all, right? Because when you're young or when you're not knowledgeable, when you're a baby, right? That's why a lot of you guys who, you just come into truth and you have so much talk. You have so much say, and you're still a baby. You're still a child, and you have so much talk, and it's just like, shut up. Like, who are you talking to? You know what I mean? It's just like, stay in a child's place, because you're still supposed to be under governance. You're not supposed to be talking back. You're just a servant right now, even though you be a lord. Why are you a lord? Because at the end of the day, you are a man. And as a man, you're going to grow to govern yourself. You're going to grow to have power. But right now, in the stead that you are in, you need to learn. And the way that you learn is by listening. And that's how you know when somebody doesn't want to learn, because they don't listen. When somebody does not want to learn, they don't listen. It's very simple, right? And people like that are
are headed towards destruction. And guess what? Sometimes that's fine, right? In Jamaica, we have a saying, if you don't hear, you must feel. And that's a good saying. Why? Because if someone, just like the scriptures say, what does the scriptures say? Warning comes before destruction. So if warning comes before destruction, that means you didn't take heed to the instruction. And that's your fault. Just like when you're on the road, right? Even the white man does this, which is righteous, right? He'll say danger up ahead, slow down or caution or whatever. That's righteous. So if you're the fool that's barreling down the road doing 180, 200, and then the danger comes and you're now braking, but it's too late to brake, that's on you. You got the warning. Right? And that's what we represent in the truth. We're not at the danger yet, but we're giving you the warning before the danger arrives. Okay? Verse 2, but is under tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. Okay? So that's how this truth works, man. You got to be built up first. Right? And that's how life should be. Life should be a thing where when you're a young man, you are building up yourself to become an autonomous man. Right? To have authority for yourself, to rule, to govern. Okay? To lead.
Properly, they are going to revert back and sneak back to the men who treat them exactly how they feel as though where their worth is at. You're trying to take her here when her worth is here, and that's what she's been accustomed to getting treated like. That's why you can't level her up. That's why you can't outlove her trauma. That's why no matter how insecure she seems and no matter how much reassurance you give her, it's never enough because she doesn't appreciate men like you. She appreciates.
A man is not supposed to level up a woman, sir. Right? A woman is supposed to level up herself with her conduct and her behavior. And with her conduct and her behavior, she will be rewarded. Right? Just like when you're at work. Right? You get promotions or you get demotions. You can either get promoted or demoted. It's so simple. Right? But us, right? Because when in the beginning of the video, when he was addressing the woman, he said the woman of our skin tone. Well, that doesn't even let us know who we are, right? Because we should be addressing a certain demographic or a certain race of people, right? Which is you so-called blacks, Latinos, and you Native Americans. Why? Because you are the biblical Israelites. You're who God, right? His name is Yahweh, told us to forewarn of the dangers that are coming up ahead, which is known as prophecy, right? We are prophesying to you. These are prophecies that are coming to pass. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you have a feeling within inside of you as something is wrong. And that feeling within inside of you of something being wrong is because something is wrong. Something is off, and it's off spiritually, right? And it's off as well because a change is going to come. What's that change? It's going to be the end of this rulership of the Caucasian. The Caucasian rulership is coming to an end, but before it comes to an end, there's going to be calamity and there's going to be judgment, and it's going to befall you first. You're going to get caught up in it. How much of you? 2/3 of you. 1/3 of you will survive, or 1/3 of you will be delivered. And also there's going to be an elect, which is going to be 144,000. And they're going to be the rulers of the next world, right? Or the next rulership. Is the rulership going to be on another planet? No, it's going to be here. But are we going to rule other planets? Yes. This is going to be interdimensional rulership. Why? Because we're going to have those new bodies. We're no longer just going to be mortals. We're going to become immortals. Okay? And that's the truth. Right? So with that, I like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well. And to the brothers on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom. Till next time. Kwame Asharallah.